Water. What is water? Is it something we know? Water is all around us. I had a thirst for knowledge about water. So I put aside my current research and took the plunge. Join me, won't you? The water is fine. Was I alone in my quest? I didn't know where to start, but luckily I ran into Isaac, a water scientist.
Now, you're a water scientist.
For how long have you been doing this?
I started the Water Institute about 15 years ago.
And through him, I met other scientists, academics, and experts. I just had one question. What can you tell me about water?
Water, or in the vernacular, water, is a substance made of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Think about that.
We believe water has been around for a long time. Some think it may have been around back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, but of course that's unlikely since it would have been destroyed when they did.
Water is like a leech. It feeds off the poor and the weak. It's nothing but a virus.
I don't believe water actually exists. A whole lot of propaganda, if you ask me.
Water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot.
I was being flooded with knowledge, and yet I kept thinking of more questions.
I know water's been around as long as I've been alive. But what about ancient civilizations? Did they know about water? Did they?
Water was first discovered by the ancient Egyptian culture. What they first did to figure out what this water source was is they would lead cats up to the river on leashes made of gold, and they would coax them into the water. And as they flowed down the river and drowned by the weight of these gold chains, nobody knew what to make of it.
Water. I've never really known what water is, and I'm the foremost expert upon it. Water is mysterious. I have had scientists studying water in my laboratory for years, and they still don't understand where it comes from.
Aliens.
Where does water come from?
I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
Here comes some science.
I'm this close to cracking the code for water.
If I can just balance the variables.
No! Damn you, water!
What I have here is a computer rendering of a basic unit of water. A drop. Now what I have here is a photograph of a drawing of an alien. I want you to take a look and let's see what happens when I turn the drop of water upside down. Now, as we can see, this is obvious proof that aliens said, when we create water, let's make sure that it resembles our head if you turn a drop of it upside down. And that's obviously what has occurred here.
Now, water saw its next great movement during the 1920s in America. Now, let me tell you, what they did with this water was a disgrace. They would squeeze it into little droplets into their eyes for their quick fix, or snort it through a straw into their nose so that they could get it right into their brain right away. Now, it is a disgrace, and it is a smear across our country, but it is important that people know this about the history of water.
Did you know Did you know that they cool nuclear reactors with water?
Wonder why that is. You know, the Russians tried to make an explosive device, an atomic bomb, if you will, out of water.
If they'd succeeded, we'd be having this conversation in Russian.
Yeah, comrade.
Coming up after the break.
You have this science, but what happens when science compounds itself on top of science? And who created science? Aliens. You should have said that. That's the answer.
With so much water around us, I started to get nervous. I knew how scientists felt about water, but how does water feel about us?
Water, if you're there, I'd like to ask you a few questions. I'm not getting any response so far.
Some people call Dracula, Nosferatu, a succubus. That is incorrect. The real succubus is water.
Water is not our friend. Water drowns people malevolently.
Water has pre-existed mankind, and water wants its place back at the top of the dominance hierarchy.
Well, there's many schools of thought about that as well. One, this could have been a ruse from the aliens to overtake us, and they planted water those 2,000 years ago to come back and they kind of eliminate mankind.
Water wasn't always this way. I thought that water liked me. I thought that water appreciated me as much as I appreciated it. But one day, I go to a friend's house, catch up on old times, and he was drinking water. He had bottles of it in his fridge, and then he offered me some.
Oh, you want some water?
The bastard offered me some water.
Hey, you want me to get some from the fridge?
But before I could let him have it, he turns on the sink. The water was coming into the house freely, of its own volition. What am I supposed to think? I mean, I understand adultery, okay? I have a cousin who knows a lawyer. But to just put it right in front of somebody's face, that's a fundamental disrespect. I was in shock. So I left. I got the hell out of there. You better believe I got the hell out of there, but it didn't stop there. It didn't stop there at all. I walked by a restaurant, and water was being served at every table! It was giving itself away for nothing! I thought we had something special. But clearly that wasn't the case. After that night, I didn't touch water ever again. You better believe I never will.
Water's out to get us, to understand us, to destroy us. That is why water is everywhere. You turn on a tap, it comes out. I'm convinced that water in our schools leads to swimming. And swimming leads to leaving. And leaving leads to fall. And fall is the fall of mankind.
Coming up after the break.
It takes less than an inch of water to drown a fully grown male elephant.
All of a sudden, I was given pause. A concerning thought appeared. Is water dangerous?
Now water can flow or it can crash.
Is water dangerous?
Water dangerous?
If you look at water the wrong way, it can spill on you.
When a body is found dying in the desert, it sometimes appears that they're sweating to death. They're not sweating to death. It's the water sucking the life out of them.
Are guns dangerous? Is the sun dangerous? Are those rusty pipes we stand on at the Water Institute dangerous?
Yes.
Over a dozen people a year are killed by water. A dozen. That's more than you can count on both hands.
And what causes rust?
Water.
Did you know?
Many historians now believe that the Titanic disaster was not a collision due to pilot error. It was an attack. It was a two-pronged effort. Those who weren't killed by the collision with the iceberg drowned in the ocean, also composed of water. Coincidence? We think not.
Water. The evidence began to stack up. Is water friend or foe? And if it ever came down to it, can we defend ourselves against water? Who would win in a fight to the end?
Water cannot be destroyed. We've tried all sorts of methods. We've tried stabbing it. We've tried exploding it. We've tried burning it. We've even run a car into it at 200 miles an hour. The car was destroyed. There just doesn't seem to be any way to get rid of this stuff.
One of the most interesting concepts surrounding water is the idea that it just might be immortal.
That's why we're in here. This is the water cage.
The what?
The water cage.
Water cage.
It has no water in it.
Well, good lord, we left the door wide open here when we came in to do the interview.
Oh god.
We would be breached by the water with the door not shut here.
Water cage.
One thing that's interesting is that it does not have a lock on it.
That's fine. We've determined that water can't open doors.
Water cage.
The existence of the water pump within the water cage is interesting. You've been smart here to preclude the addition of the handle.
So we don't want any water to get in.
No water can come out if you can't pump it. Exactly.
Water cage.
Seep, seep, seep. That's about all I can do.
Yeah, that's right. Just a small amount of seeping. Eventually, we hope that all of our buildings are as safe as this one.
I'm here in the ruins of ancient America, where fortresses were put against the water line to perhaps guard against the water. There is evidence of a recession on the shoreline, so these served their purpose. The water never made it past this point.
Water.
Is there anywhere we can go to get away from this water?
Nowhere on Earth.
What about the moon?
There's water there.
Mars?
There's water there.
What about some of these outer planets I keep hearing about, like Europa?
There's water there too. Lots of it.
Coming up after the break.
Is there anything we can do?
No.
Where is the microfilm? No! That wasn't a yes or no question!
But is there any hope for the future? Can we coexist with water?
This is amazing! We seem to have found someone who lives in the water.
Mankind's coexisted with water before. Human beings are almost 90% water.
Be water, my friend.
What do you think an alien would come down here for? Do you think they would come down here to give us this nourishment? To make our bodies? Now, if they were to do that, I don't think it'd be to kill us, right? It'd probably be to make us live, so they could come back and make us their slaves.
And you live in the water.
Pretty much. 2-3 times a week I'm in the water, and I'm all year round.
Only 2-3 times.
Without water, we die. With water, we die. We're put in a double bind situation.
You sit there, you drink your 8 glasses a day and you don't think about the consequences. I feel bad for you, honestly.
Try again. Persistence is key, as we now know today.
Because they'll be back. And I'm not going to miss it this time.
How long can you survive out of the water?
About 3 days. You see, my gills get all scabbed over.
Water carves out its own destiny. It drips through our consciousness like thousands of orphan children.
There is so much to understand and so much to know. And we can only become richer, more educated, and possibly more hydrated from our knowledge of this mythical source of life.
Okay, I'm gonna go shave now.
Ultimately, water remains a mystery that can never be solved. But one thing I've learned is that while water can be dangerous, it can also be beneficial. And with proper training, we just might be able to coexist peacefully. That's a hope that must never run dry. Next week, trees. What are trees? Are they something we know? Or are they just plain weird?
Can you introduce yourself for us?
I am Aquaman, king of the sea.
Wow, so you have the power to control water.
What? No, not water itself, but all of the creatures who live in the water.
Well, this is a documentary about water.
And I control everything that lives in the water.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wonder if that really counts.
Water is better than acid, but acid at least carves a place for us in our hearts.
This life source only gets better with age. Age. You know, some people ask me my age. A woman never tells.
A lot of people are non-believers in one, the fact that aliens exist, and two, that we have aliens to thank for this nourishment, H2O.
You know, I was like, all right, I'll give water its space. I'll let water have a day.
Say it with me. Yeah, you're not going to. That's fine. Aliens.
I've had personal experiences where water has transformed my life, but in a bad way, in a terrifying way, in a way that little people don't like. I mean midgets.
What do you command these fish to do?
Well, I command them to swim.
It's if you want to be a water alien denier, that's your cross to bear.
It's done. It's water under the bridge.
Is that safe?
I'm a scientist. Actually, I have 32 degrees in water.
But that's 0 in centigrade.
Oh, touche.
Does anything you do directly benefit mankind in any way?
I can fight crime. If it's underwater.
What about shark attacks? Could you stop those?
Yes! I could! If I was within a few feet of the said attack, and if the sharks were using their good listening ears, I could definitely tell them maybe just to bite them, but not consume them completely.
Cut! Stop the tape! Stop the tape!
It's digital.
Shut up!
Is water dangerous? Sorry, did I wig? Is water dangerous?
Well, it's no different than you or I. We wake up, we brush our teeth, we get the water, we wash out our mouth, and we spit it out. And sure, it stings a little bit because you got a little cut in your mouth from your wife's cooking. She doesn't need to get mad about that. She needs to make sure that she picks up the glass before she puts it in the pasta.
What kind of question is that?
A dangerous question. Is water dangerous? Don't skirt the SG.
If she wants to get mad about it and keep my daughter away from me, that's fine. I have no... What can I say about that?
Can you just tell all the sharks to stop eating all the humans?
But that's hardly fair. Can't you just tell all the humans not to swim in shark-infested water?
We do.
It's probably a good idea.